Hey guys, SpacePigguArt here, and today I am back with another gouache painting. And I'm counting it as mostly a gouache painting because, as you can see, I've already set down some background colours, which I did with watercolour because it's just a bit quicker and someone is really revving outside. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, but it's happening. Yeah, excellent. Anyway, so yeah, gouache painting, that's what I'm doing here, that's what I should be talking about. I am very easily distracted, clearly. But yeah, so I got a new purple paint. That's pretty fun. Yeah. So that's the purple that I'm using for pretty much all of the actual purple that I do. I mostly just use purple, a pinkish red, and I'm pretty sure that that's ultramarine blue. Yeah, we'll go with that. So yeah, I mostly use those colours. I do a little bit of mixing. I also use some like pretty nice yellow. It's pretty bright. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm going for with this whole thing. As you can see, the purple is not really as bright as it actually should be. It's a really bright, vibrant purple, and as much as I fiddled around with pretty much as many settings as I could find, I couldn't get it to look right, so I just kind of let it be. Yeah, I tried to layer quite a lot in this, which, I mean, I do quite a bit when I'm using gouache, so it's not weird, but I don't know, I'm not super good at just waiting for things to dry, so, you know, I kind of had to exercise some patience, but it was pretty fun. Yeah, I did this over the course of like a day or so, which was nice because I don't usually give myself much time to paint. I don't know why I do that, but I really just I just love making things hard for myself, I guess. Yeah. As you can see, I've kind of upped a lot of the saturation, but that didn't make the purple stand out more, so, you know, hey. Such is life. Her skin looks really pink to begin with, and honestly, I wasn't thrilled with how a lot of her turned out. I mean, I'm saying her, but like, she's very flat-chested, entirely flat-chested. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know, you know? I just went with what I was feeling like painting, I guess, and this is what it was, so yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna refer to my mermaid as a female, but meh. Yeah, I have a habit of going into drawings with no real intentions for gender. That's probably a lot to do with me as a person, but we won't go into all of that. Yeah, I just enjoyed this. I played around a bit with colours. I made them... I watered stuff down quite a lot, on purpose as well. So I would smush them about a bit on my palette using the water brush, which obviously means more water comes out, so it kind of lightens the colours a bit. And that was intentional. For once I did something on purpose instead of just seeing what happens. But yeah. And that was an interesting way to use gouache, actually. I usually try and do it in quite thick layers, but these were a lot thinner, and I feel like they turned out quite interestingly. I'm not 100% sure that I'm amazingly thrilled with what I've achieved here, but I don't know. I think it was fun at the very least, which is always a good sign. As long as you're having fun, you haven't really gone too far wrong, I guess. At least that's kind of how I see it, because art is supposed to be a fun thing for me, and if I'm not finding it enjoyable, then I've really messed up. But hey, yeah, man, I'm only like halfway through the video and I'm already struggling to keep talking about things that make sense. Because obviously I can ramble for ages about things that don't make sense, but rambling about useful things is a bit more tricky. Yeah, this is the point where the pinkish reddish tone that I use looks very like neon corally. It's not meant to. That's yeah, clearly I need to work on my color correcting because I'm horrendously bad at it, but that's okay. I guess we can't all be good at that. Plus, like, if anyone knows at all how to make bright purples show up, I've never been able to do this with this camera. It just hates purple. I don't know why, I don't know what purple did to it, but it hates purple. Oh, this was an interesting thing. I tried to do the clouds in an interesting way, so you can see they all curve around that kind of blue corner, I guess. Yeah, I just thought that looked kind of interesting, I guess. Like, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and this is what I ended up doing. I don't know. I see a lot of artists, at least I have seen a lot of artists in the past do this kind of thing where they have the clouds focused around like a point, and then they kind of all curve around that. So I tried it out. I don't know if you think it's any good or not, but it was interesting at the very least, so I think it was worth trying. Yeah. And now I've gotten out my pencils. So this is a little bit of a multimedia dealio, what with watercolour and gouache and pencils, and I don't think I used anything else, but you know. I tried really hard to fix her face a little bit because I kind of messed it up, which makes sense because I was using my biggest water brush on a tiny little A5 page, so that was clearly foolish. You might be able to tell just by how big my hands are that this wasn't a very big piece, and that was very silly of me, but you know, such is life. I think I managed to clean it up quite nicely using the pencils though. Just like adding outlines is essentially what I'm doing with it, but yeah, I think I managed to make it look a little bit more decent, I guess is what I'm looking for there. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah. I wasn't originally going to give it outlines, but I felt like there wasn't enough contrast just because all of the colours were quite similar, so I went ahead and added outlines because I often prefer the way that they look. But yeah, as you can see, I decided to use purple rather than stark black because I thought that would be a little bit much. So yeah, I went with a much, well, not a much lighter, but a slightly lighter, so that it would be a bit more, I don't know, chill, I guess. Yeah, and now, as you can see, I'm adding some yellow into the sky. I add a little bit of yellow across most of the painting, actually, on her tail and hair and body and on the water and the rock. So yeah, literally everywhere I add in some yellow just to make sure that it didn't look too out of place, because sometimes you can add colours and they just, I don't know. But I also tried not to go too overboard with it because I have a habit of just covering everything in one colour if I try to add a little bit of it. So yeah, I tried my best to keep this reasonably under control, and I think I did okay. I think it made the clouds look a bit more interesting at the very least. Maybe less cloud-like though, I don't know. It's a fantasy thing, so I'm okay with it looking weird and fantasy-y. So yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And we're slowly coming up towards the end of the video as well, so I can tell you to go and check out my not my new social media, my old normal social media things. They are linked below. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, are my main ones that I use. Obviously, I have a YouTube. You're watching it right now, so if you want, you could maybe subscribe or like or comment or whatever it is that you like to do with YouTube videos. But yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this mermaidy video for Mermaid. And yeah, goodbye!